All right, man. Remember the 5th of November. Guys,
So,
today we got some pretty cool news, man. If anybody doesn't know that phrasing, remember the 5th of November. That, of course, is one of the most famous lines from V for Vendetta, which was a movie made in 2005, 6, if I'm not mistaken. It was a phenomenal movie. I actually did a video about a week ago reacting to a 20th anniversary trailer, and the movie is set to actually be back in theaters for its 20th anniversary next year, which I think it's really cool idea of them doing that. They just done that recently with Jaws and other movies. Bring them back to the theaters. Let the people who didn't get a chance to experience them again. I'm all for that idea, man. But V for Vendetta was a movie that was made by the Wachowskis. It's an adaptation of a story by Alan Moore, and in the movie, it's very it really hits on to where our political landscape is currently, especially different parts of our government who really almost want us to be so submissive and so, pretty much we're like, hey, they have all the power versus the people, right? Which we are the people who elect them, right? That's what's called a democracy. And this movie really shows the idea of fascism. And I'll be honest with you, right now I like the current state, of some people we have in power. However, what's going to happen is if we continue on this path, we're going to end up getting somebody who is this fascist, who is going to come along as like a godlike savior, and it's going to just have everybody and indulge in them, and then they are going to completely ruin this country. And I see it happening. I hope it doesn't. I could see it happening though. And so this movie, I feel, plays a real relevance today, about what the future could hold. Well, good news for us, man. I'll be honest with you. Not stop getting into the politics there. I really love this movie. This movie really hit the hat on a lot of different elements. The main character is really awesome. He's got the cool guy faux mask. Excellent dialogue. I love the dialogue throughout this movie. Just some of the quotes that this character here just says, and it's just so badass, man. So badass. Natalie Portman is also awesome in this movie as well. Believe it or not, she's not British, man. And she really rocked that British accent and did a good job there. But the movie is very, very good. The pacing is great. The action is great. And like I said, the dialogue is I think the best part of it. And so if you haven't got a chance to see V for Vendetta, I do recommend it. But actually, news broke this morning that we are going to be getting more V for Vendetta. So it says here that V for Vendetta HBO series in development with James Gunn and Peter Safran on board as executive producer. This is actually really good news, I think. It says, though the studio really missed a trick by not announcing this a few days ago, that would have been cool on the 5th of November, right? But it says Variety is reporting that a new take on one of Alan Moore's most celebrated works, V for Vendetta, is in development at HBO. It is going to be written by Somewhere Boy, award-nominated writer Pete Jackson is attached to pen the series, with DC Studios co-heads James Gunn and Peter Safran on board as executive producers, along with Ben Stevenson via The Poison Pen and Leanne Klein of the Wall to Wall Media, which is a part of Warner Brothers Television Studios in UK. So Moore's 1982 tale is set in a dystopian Britain controlled by the fascist Northfire Party and an anarchist named V, inspired by the famous revolutionary Guy Fawkes, attempts to take down the government with the help of a young lady named Evie Hammond. So the graphic novel was previously adapted as a 2005 movie starring Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman. It was generally well received and proved to be a moderate box office success with a much bigger hit on DVD. Hell yeah. Man, you had to get that movie on DVD when it came out. But many fans of the far more complex comic series felt it missed the mark. Okay, I can see that. But, with everything. And you got James Gunn. I'm sure James Gunn is a huge fan of this work here. So now it says back in 2017, Channel 4 planned a series adaptation that never got off the ground. According to Variety, the HBO Max / Epic's DC series Pennyworth was almost meant to serve as a prequel to V for Vendetta, though it was canceled after 3 seasons before the storyline could be fully flushed out. We're not sure if the V for Vendetta show will be a direct retelling of the comic, but HBO acclaimed the Watchmen series served as a sequel to Moore's story, and there's almost speculation that this could follow suit. That would be interesting, just to kind of pick that up a little bit there. Pennyworth, didn't get a chance to see it. I did hear it was good. That would be pretty interesting, right? That would make me watch it, right? Especially if it were to eventually set up a possible V for Vendetta mixed in with Pennyworth, who, of course, come on, let's be honest, we all know is Alfred from Batman, because V for Vendetta is a DC comic. Now, Alan Moore, of course, if I'm not mistaken, he also did Watchmen too. I'm actually about to look that up. Yeah. So Alan Moore is also the creator of Watchmen. Now, both of these were made in the 80s, and I mean these are two of, some really great comic book stories, man. Very dark, very gritty, but it's truly cool to be able to see some of these come to life, right? So. Now, just to talk about Watchmen a little bit, Watchmen, which we all know was directed and written by Zack Snyder, and he brought it to the big screen in like 2007. It's one of the best comic book movies, period. Just period. I mean, the movie is long as can be, but for how they adapted it, it was really amazing. They had great casting, great action. The movie really, really was really awesome. This is the best way as I could put it. Now they did end up doing the HBO series, which to be honest, I did enjoy. But the HBO series, it wasn't more like a retelling. It was just a direct sequel to the movie, which I still enjoyed it. I didn't like Mr. Manhattan that much, to be honest, in the new series. But yeah, Jeremy Irons playing, of course, Ozymandias. Stuck on this other Earth almost in a way, and you got the woman who was the who used to be a superhero. I forgot her name in the comics, but now she's like an agent, and that was played by Jean Smart. So it was there was elements to it that was really cool, and I liked Regina King. She was awesome, and I understand what they were trying to go with it in a way. They were trying to also kind of make it relatable to what they think is the current state of politics, and so I understand what they were doing there, and I still enjoyed it very much. At first, I was thinking it was going to be a retelling, and then it ended up just being a direct sequel, which I think served better, because if it was going to be a retelling, I think they would have fumbled it big time. Now, however, with this, I think with this storyline and what we've gotten, 20 years ago, I think it warrants for a remake. I'm not saying that, like I said, I love the original, but I don't see where you're going to go do a sequel to this, kind of like what they're speculating here. They're saying, oh, that could follow suit. I just don't see that. I see them just starting fresh with this one. And then, I see James Gunn. I see Peter Safran, of course, also chimed in there as executive producer. And, this is attached to DC comic. So I don't doubt it if they're just going to go ahead and just start from scratch with it. But, oh, man. This really got me excited, because I love the V for Vendetta. It's one of my favorite movies. We got a 20th anniversary. It's going to be releasing in theaters again next year. Definitely going to check that out. The movie is really spectacular, guys. Check it out. I know some folks had mixed bags on it, especially comic book fans. I do understand that, especially if you grew up and you love this comic, and then it's just not quite what you expected it to be, or they adapted it, in a different telling. I can see where people get upset. However, let's be objective, and when we watch that movie, man, the movie is good. Movie's good. You can't deny it. Whether it follows a storyline that you might have grew up with or we were accustomed to, the movie is good. Just let's just speak facts here. So I'm excited about this retelling here. I would love for it to be more of a remake than a direct sequel to it, right? I mean, hell, it's been 20 years now since they did this movie. But I think with the right people on board, I think that they can actually make it work, especially redo it, retell it. And like I said, I hope it opens up people's eyes to some of the people that we have in our political spectrum, and people wake the fuck up, because there are some truly evil people, you know. And of course, I know people think, oh, I'm talking about the president. No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the other side, just true evil beings. But besides that, guys, go and check V for Vendetta if you haven't watched it. But until then, man, this is pretty exciting news, and I'm sure next year we probably won't see it, but maybe 2027. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and please subscribe for more Real Rumble. I'm your boy G. I'm out. Check back for more videos.